My introduction to the UN space has been the shock of recognizing that there is a gap that we continue to admire. We discuss these issues. The governments, states don't have the capacity. The private sector is not sufficiently incentivized because the model that we function on in the private sector is about driving profit and efficiency. I don't want to spend time describing what this gap is. The challenge is that we've recognized that we're discussing something quite different in the UN space from what is happening in productivity in the rest of the global community. I was at an economic forum last year, and I asked the folks who were in private equity, financing, hedge fund business, do you use the word multilateralism in your work? And they said, what? No, they don't use the word multilateralism, but it's every third or fifth word that we use in the United Nations space. The problem is we haven't figured out how to get the sensibilities, the spirit, the constitution of the private sector into multilateralism as we discuss it and think of solving problems in the United Nations space. This is the huge problem. So what do we do about intellectual property as an international community when so much is changing and solutions and innovation are needed? And we've gone into talking about citizen science. What do you do with a community of people who may have solutions, but we haven't figured out how to give them the protection of intellectual property rights? What do we do about platforms and platforms for partnership and platforms for implementation? Most of the problems, the challenges we have in the international space in trying to solve the problems we have rest on the inability to implement. So we have great ideas. I speak to colleagues who have wonderful ideas, but we don't have the ability to implement. And I'll close with this. When I was being briefed to take the role at the United Nations, I met with the permanent secretary in the office of the Prime Minister. And he said to me, he said, Stan, I've got 13 geniuses who work in this office behind me. He said, we've gotten approval for more than 20 projects from the Inter-American Development Bank. Guess how many of them have succeeded? None. He said, we don't have the bandwidth, these geniuses I have, to implement any of these projects. None. It is the same problem in the UN space. We have to figure out the implementation challenge. It is not the solutions that we have. It is the implementation. And then I will close by saying it then means that we have to address this one issue that I pointed out in the panel discussion. It is reducing the number of projects we have and focusing on the few that will have a global impact. Matt, I would love to say more, but you got to give me more time to think about what I should discuss with you, right? But thank you very much.